sister's a therapist and I tell jokes. We both want to help all kinds of folks.
Hello and welcome to My Sister's a Therapist. This is the show in which a comedian and a therapist talk about issues of the day, mental health issues. My name is Virginia Jones. I've been a comedian for 17 years, and I frequently give people bad mental health advice, but I always couch it with, I'm not a therapist, but my sister's a therapist. So let me introduce you to my sister. This is Laura Ryan, LMFT.
Hello. I am a therapist, and my sister is a therapist by birth relation. Is that how that works? I've been a mental health therapist for 10 years in Austin, Texas.
And it's like that thing where, you know, my husband's a doctor, so I'm pretty much a doctor.
You're basically a nurse.
So welcome to our first episode. This episode, we thought we would talk about the concept of the friend zone. To start off, I want to ask you, Laura, how do you define the friend zone? What do you think it means? And then what did you think when you first heard it?
So the friend zone for me is made up by men. And I think that my first experience with the friend zone was, I don't know. I mean, I thought I was under the probably stupid idea that all of my male friends actually liked and respected me for who I was and didn't have any ulterior motives. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I think Chris Rock was probably the first time I'd ever heard the term, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard of it as the extension of the idea that men and women can't be friends, which was a common trope. And at the time, I think I thought, well, that makes sense. You know, men and women are only suited to be in romantic relationships. I didn't understand that it was because men would always want a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship with a woman, even if a woman thought he was just a friend. But I definitely remember being introduced to this idea that there's no way that men and women can be friends. We're just too different.
Yes, I did hear that as well. But I think a lot of that has to do with the idea that women are inherently unlovable or disinteresting. You know, they're not going to be smart or have interesting things to add, right? So I think, and I guess that was another thing. I think, you know, for a long, long time as a young woman, probably into my 20s, I would say, I was a pick-me, and I was of the opinion that, you know, women were just catty and bitchy and like their friendship wasn't worth my time.
And like, where did you get, like, who told you that? Like, dudes.
That would be our father.
Right. Dudes in our life. Yeah. Right. So the core of the idea that men and women can't be friends is, you're right, that women don't have any worth apart from sexual worth and the labor that we do. Right. I remember the movie When Harry Met Sally, like thinking back on it now. So like the whole trope of the movie is Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal proving that men and women can be friends, but then
ultimately disprove it.
Ultimately disprove it. Right. At the end, they are in a relationship.
Meanwhile, Carrie Fisher, who is a dedicated and loving friend,
a good friend,
a very important, like she's there to pick up the pieces every time Meg Ryan has problems. But yeah, she doesn't matter.
She can't be worth anything. Right.
She's not worth anything.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Like, do you think men and women can be friends?
I think in order for men and women to be friends, men have to really unpack a lot of their beliefs about themselves, their entitlement, their value system. And I think men have to ask themselves the question, like, do I truly respect this woman? And if sex was not on the table at all, would I still be interested? And if the answer to that question is no, then absolutely not. You should not be friends with that person. But I mean, I think it's possible. I have done it. I have what I would consider 3 successful relationships with men. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that all 3 of them have in common is none of them have ever hit on me.
And I think that they can too, but I think you're right. It takes a very special kind of man.
You have to really divest from all of this.
I think part of the idea of the friend zone comes from when a man hits on you or says, I'm interested in you, and you tell him, I have a boyfriend, I'm not available. They'll frequently counter with, well, can we be friends?
Right.
And they don't mean they don't want to be your friend.
Well, they don't want to have an honest, meaningful, thoughtful connection with you where you both enhance each other's life through platonic relationship.
Right. They're just going to hang out until maybe they can have sex with you.
Maybe you'll be really
later.
drunk one night, or maybe you'll be sad. Maybe your boyfriend will break up with you. And then, the opportunity will arise. It's that long con. I'm just going to wait in the bushes until you're vulnerable, like a fox in the night.
Right.
And I'm going to make my move.
And this is a thing that I've experienced from guys who thought of themselves as nice guys.
Right.
The guys who are just having a completely fictional relationship with me. One thing we were talking about the other day is that when I got married was when I realized I didn't have any male friends.
Right.
Because my male friends were an assortment of men that I had dated or men that were interested in dating me. And when I got the ring on my finger, they all just...
They were on the wind.
And then later when some of the friends came back when they were in their own partnerships.
Right.
And then we were couple friends.
Right.
But when
it was just you,
no go. And that was really hurtful because
it's extremely hurtful.
Yeah. Like I thought that these guys really
respected
being
you
around me,
or cared about you.
Thought I was cool. Right.
Thought just for being, I think that's the thing. It's like when I look at my female friendships, one thing that I notice is that these women love me for my spirit, my ideas, my sense of humor, my beliefs, my value set. And, we care about each other mutually because of just a fondness for the person's humanity. And I think in a lot of these cases with gentlemen, cishet gentlemen specifically, that's not it.
Right. Well, and even though with gay men, there's not the friend zone. It's the opposite of that. They're looking for the friend zone. I have experienced a real flakiness because I'm not their sexual interest.
Right. Because you don't have value unless you're someone I'm trying to get with.
Yeah. They'll hang out with me.
Until somebody more interesting comes along.
Until someone they're interested in. And that's a whole other toxic issue with women because other women are not as valuable as men. Even women you've been friends with for years and years. Like I had a girlfriend that I had known for 15 years and she would regularly, we would have plans forever.
Yeah.
And she would cancel on me last minute because she had a first date from someone she met on an
Starbucks
app.
coffee date.
And eventually I told her, I'm like, in life, if we were going to do no big deal something, that was okay. But sometimes we would have a big plan.
A flight to Paris booked.
Right. No, do not take this to Paris. But
no.
Sometimes, we were going to go to a concert together. We were going to do, but any interest from a man, and that went out the window because being friends with a woman is not worth as much.
Right. I remember
I got frustrated with her, and I was like, we're 40, Right. How many first coffee dates in your life have led to anything at all?
Right.
And how many times, compared to having an actual relationship with someone who cares about you.
Right. I've been investing in this relationship with you this whole time while you've been waiting to sideline me for someone who's more important. I too had a similar relationship like that with a man who I thought we were just friends. It turns out I was incorrect because he got a girlfriend. And so as soon as she rolled up, he basically ghosted me before that term existed, but he ghosted me for a solid year. And then they broke up and suddenly he's back in the fold.
Right, exactly. And in this case, this guy we're talking about, he wasn't interested in you sexually, but he wanted to use you for emotional connection.
Because friendship does not have the value that romantic commitment has. And that's why Carrie Fisher got nixed.
Got the house. Yeah. Let's talk about the idea of just friends. When you say, oh, we're just friends.
Right.
We're just friends.
What does that mean?
What? This is definitely an inferior relationship.
I'm going to quote a song that a man that I was friends with wrote about me. Let's just be friends is what she said. That's me. So I spit in her face and I chopped off her head. Let's just be friends is what she said. I went home and she just bled. That's when I knew that our friendship had no value.
Another thing that's interesting, if a man is, and we're going to get to the pining
friend zone in a second.
Right.
But like, if a man is so into you and wants you to be his partner, a sexual partner, or girlfriend, or whatever, so badly, but you don't want to be friends with her, like, what was it you liked about her? Like, what was so great about this lady?
Right. Well, what was so great was that she was going to, because men don't have friends, she was going to come in and administer my whole life. And she was going to be my social connection. She was going to be my buddy, and also the place where I can poke when I'm feeling like it. Because men have a sense of entitlement that they deserve to have sex with women for no reason, apart from the fact that they want to and that they are a man.
Another movie, and this broke my heart to reconsider it, but like a movie that was very, very important to me as a child was Pretty in Pink. And like Duckie Dale, who, I mean, we both thought he was the ideal man.
He was perfect. He was everything any woman could ever want, really.
Beautiful, dressed great, funny. But his main problem is he has this unrequited crush on Andy. So they're friends, like they do everything together. He prioritizes her in every part of his life.
To kind of a creepy level.
To kind of a creepy level, exactly. And you see him early in the movie saying, I'm in love with this woman and I have to tell her, and like pining. And it's a very romantic idea, that like pining for someone and holding out for them. But it is, if you scratch the surface, it's creepy inside. Like inside there's creepy.
Well, it's not friendship.
Right.
What it is not friendship.
Right. Well, he's just been waiting and waiting until the moment that she realizes, she caves, or and like when he really goes off on her and shames her because she's going to go on a date with Andrew McCarthy.
Blaine? That's not a name.
It's a major appliance. But in that scene, we realize
we're showing our age.
We're showing our age a little bit, small amount. Gen X, okay. But in that scene, you realize that Andy's known the whole time.
Right.
Like she's not an idiot.
Right.
She knows that this guy has had a crush on her, but she does value his friendship, and she does like hanging out with him.
And probably on some level, she hopes that he will accept that her friendship is worth something, and it doesn't just have to be a stepping stone to something else.
You know, the original ending of Pretty in Pink was that Duckie and Andy wound up together, because in movie logic and kind of toxic male logic.
Well, in movies written and produced by men, yes.
Right. He deserves her because he has been pining for her and has given her all this time and attention. But test audiences hated it. They were like, no, they have a real brother-sister vibe. And it's
probably
gross.
Because also test audiences were filled with women. And the idea is super gross. That, because he's been riding his bike by her house every day, she owes him a love relationship. Like, what?
Well, and like when he talks to Andy's father about it, it becomes clear that part of the reason that Andy is resistant, like is not interested, is that this is the relationship her mother and father had, where he just worshipped her and she said, okay, but she wasn't in it to win it.
She caved.
Yeah,
it wasn't, he wore her down, right? And eventually, she got sick of him and left.
So a fun trivia fact, if you do watch Pretty in Pink, and there's a lot of fun things in it, the last scene at the prom, Andrew McCarthy is skinny as crap.
Right. And looks like he's wearing a wig.
He looks like he's wearing a wig because his next role was World War II Holocaust picture.
Oh, dang.
And he had to lose, or a theater thing, and he lost a bunch of weight, and they shaved his head. So they were like, okay.
He looked kind of, I remember thinking, he looks kind of sickly.
Right. He doesn't look
what happened between last week and today? This is insane.
It's like after she yelled at him and hit the lockers, he had a really hard couple weeks.
He hit the bricks.
He was having a tough time.
Okay, so speaking of the nice guy who deserves a woman's love just because he loves her, I don't know. I've been reverting back to high school lately. So this is just apropos of nothing, but I've been hiding in my room at night because I have to turn all the lights out so that my son will will go to sleep. So I wear headphones and play Tetris and listen to the cassettes that I used to have. I listen to them now. I'm streaming them. And so I'm kind of going back through all these albums, and I was listening to a song by Billy Bragg, who I love, love, love. I don't want to throw shade, but this was a little bit of a dig for me. So there's a song called The Saturday Boy, and the whole song, I remember thinking, oh, if he were singing this song to me, I would have loved him forever. But the lyric, he says, in the end, it took me a dictionary to find out the meaning of unrequited. While she was giving herself for free at a party to which I was never invited.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So Saturday Boy, it is definitely about unrequited love, but it's also about, I think, like social stuff and like, because he's not in the cool kids club. And and that's a problematic viewpoint. And I don't think Billy Bragg today would write that. But you're right. It was one of his most requested songs just because every dude, and I think every girl, has had that feeling in school of like, I am so interested in this person and they do not give me the time of day. I think everyone can relate to that. But yes, where we have to jump off is that shaming her,
giving herself for free. She is allowed to do whatever she wants with her body, Billy. Come on, man.
Also, he doesn't know. Like, he's just kind of like, I bet that she's like having sex with a whole group of guys just in a party.
That's her prerogative. She's allowed to do that if she wants to. And she did. You weren't invited to the party because she doesn't like you, man.
But she
was nice to you at school because she's a nice person, but she doesn't owe you jack, man.
Right. Just because she was polite to you.
And nice to you in class. That's basically what the song is.
That's all it took.
According to him, rubbed herself on his desk, meaning she was trying to get through the classroom. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I just went to go see Pulp in London, and they have several songs touching on this idea. You know, I used to walk you home from school, but it didn't mean anything to you. And another one, like, was like, just like a friend, like, oh, you know, you'll come around and see me and you'll act like a friend and it'll tear my heart up.
Because what I want is what? What do I want?
Because I want to know you sexually. I want to have a romantic relationship with you. And because you don't want that, you're a bad person.
Like you are evil because you went to a party and had sex with somebody you wanted to consensually. You're a bad person. I get it.
So, that is the heartbreak of being a fan of men doing anything. Is that if you go far enough back, they will let you down every single time.
Yes. I mean, so like speaking on that, like Chris Rock, I always thought he was hilarious, right? Back in the day, he had some very funny roles and
smart man.
He's a very smart man. He has had his moments, but in his comedy special, Bring the Pain, he had this quote, you know, one cool thing about women get to have platonic friends. Men don't have platonic friends. We just have women we haven't banged yet. As soon as I figure it out, I'm in. I don't have some platonic friends. I do have some platonic friends, but those were all by accident. It's always a woman I was trying to get with, and I made a wrong turn somewhere and ended up in the friend zone.
Yeah, that was probably the first time I heard the term friend zone. But when I heard it, I knew intrinsically like what it was.
Right.
This idea that a woman has assessed you.
Right.
And that's her crime, is she doesn't think she wants to have sex with you. And so she's shaming you. Like, it's like being put in prison.
Right. I was, and now I'm trapped in this zone where I have to actually talk to, spend time with a woman who will not have sex with me. What is the point?
Why would I do it?
Why would I do it?
Because of this possibility. Yeah, that's a super bummer. And again, we have to say, comedies of the time. And the thing is that when he came up with this idea and started talking about it, people thought it was hilarious.
Right.
Because every man...
It's funny because it's true, to quote Homer Simpson.
Because, every man has had women in his life that he pretended to want to be friends with, but he was really just trying to unlock the mystery of how to have sex with her.
He was playing the long con.
Okay, so speaking of unrequited love, right? You had a situation with a much younger man.
Yeah, I did. He happens to be my son. So my son fell deeply, madly, forever in love with this young woman. Yes. In second grade, it was the first day of second grade. I asked him actually if he could tell me how long the crush lasted. And his timeline is the first day of school to the first day of school in third grade. So
wow.
Yeah, it was long lasting and it was intense. He loved her. We bought her gifts. She agreed to be his Valentine and then found out, she was seeing someone else. And
he had a friend Valentine, but she had a romantic Valentine.
Right. They were actually dating, in her words. So he came home crying and he said, she said she wanted to just be friends. And he said, I don't want to be her friend. I want to be her boyfriend. And I explained to him that in my experience, when I think of my best friends for the last decade, many, many men have come and gone, and these people have been there for me throughout all of it. And I was trying to explain to him how this has so much more value than some tryst or stupid second grade relationship. And he just, he didn't really get it.
Well, and I also recall that after you guys had this like really big talk and this really serious conversation, and also kudos to this chick because
yes, she has very good parents.
She has very good parents, very good boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have had the wherewithal at her age to tell a boy, well, I like you, but I want to be friends and I would like to be friends. I would have pretended that I liked him or, said that I think
you would have been what the kids call sus.
I would have been extremely sus because I didn't want to reject anybody.
You didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. My own self-esteem issue. So kudos to her. But later on, after you gave him this good advice, I remember he was kind of like chatting with her and was always like sending her hearts and XOX stuff. And you came in and said, hey, she set a boundary with you.
Right.
If you cross that boundary, you're not going to be friends at all. And also it's going to be creepy. And I thought that was such a great lesson for someone who is also not old enough to shave his legs.
Just the word isn't out on that, but I'm hoping that he might never do that.
I think he could be a swimmer. He's very tall.
Well, that's true. I think he's probably going to be a runner. But yes, opposite sex friendship. Is it a thing? Is it important? I mean,
it's so funny because it's like, it's all social training because at their age, they don't have sexual urges really. They don't have the hormones.
Well, did I ever tell you that underwear story?
About the box of underwear in the Target?
No. I was looking on Amazon. I think this was during the vid because I was purchasing cotton underwear online on Amazon because I couldn't go into a Target. And I was turning the models around like so you can see what the underwear looks like. And he walked in and he said, what's her name?
Yeah, no, he is.
And he said, can you turn her back around so I can see the back again? And
listeners,
it was very, very creepy.
Embarrassingly straight. Like we really held out hope that we would maybe not get that.
Maybe even some bi-curious, you can't even throw me a bone.
We love him. We love him to pieces. But boy, oh boy, is it.
Boy, oh boy, does he like girls.
Yeah. So in second grade, he's got big feelings and stuff. But that's even before sex and real hormones
are on the
stuff
table. Yeah.
Are on the table. That should be a perfect opportunity to have friendships with girls just based on their own merits and enjoying their company. So it is hard that he's already coming to the table with this idea, I'm only going to be friends with her because I'm waiting to have a relationship with her and I only want to have a relationship with her.
Right. Because friendship with women is ick, right? Yeah. Ew. Girls are gross, except for very specific places. Which brings me to the Blesky and Buss study from 2001. Have you heard about this opposite sex friendship study?
No.
So it was a very small study, so the sample size wasn't very good, but it was 200 people. But the takeaway from the study was that compared with women, men judged sexual attraction and a desire for sex as more important reasons for initiating opposite sex friendship, reported a preference for sexual attractiveness when selecting opposite sex friends, and judged a lack of sex as a more important reason for dissolving friendships with women.
I mean, it reads pretty much how you think it would, right? But I will say, as far as approaching people to be friends, I have also approached men because I was attracted to them.
Right.
But if friendship was what was in the cards, I'm also totally down.
And for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to settle for a friendship. I was like, okay, so that didn't work out. So now we're going to go down this other path.
But I still think this guy is super cool and interesting and fun. And like, that's less true every year. But like,
This is the thing you don't know. Men devalue as they age. They become less and less interesting, funny, creative, whatever.
Well, they become, as I like to say, someone's effing dad.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a message I want to. I don't know how many young people listen to this, but like, girls, whoever you're crying yourself to sleep about, in 20 years, he's going to
be bald. He's going to be bald. He's going to be wearing Crocs.
Yeah. He's going to be telling dad jokes. Like, they all turn into the same dude, and it's not worth worrying about.
No, it really isn't. But yeah, I think the difference, between because it hasn't happened in a while, because I don't, unlike you, I don't actually have a lot of access to men on a regular basis because of my job. But
most of the men are in bad marriages, which is great.
But most of the men I know are in bad marriages or just mercilessly forever single because of the problems that they experience. And also I can't date men who I work with because that would make me lose my license. And also I wouldn't anyway, because but anyway.
Well, let's put a pin in that, because you've told me a little something about at one point you had one client that you thought, wow, this person is attractive. If I met him on the street,
season 1, episode 1 of our relationship. Yes.
Season 1, episode 1. You were like, he is attractive. And
he's funny and he's charming and he dresses well and whatnot.
But then as you became his therapist and learned everything that is flipping wrong with this dude, and like, that's the truth. Like, most of the time, if you have a crush on a guy, all you got to do is wait.
Yeah, so I think women play the long game, but our long game is really figuring y'all out and going, oh, this really isn't it. Right. And like, that's like, as I remember that man, and I remember our relationship, by episode 2, I was like, okay, I understand.
Right.
I understand why this man is single. I understand why he's experiencing the problems he's experiencing. And as time unfolded, I got to really understand that, wow, okay. I understand why I'm attracted to him because of my childhood trauma, and also why he is a terrible match for me.
Tiny sidebar.
Not just because he's but for lots of
the other time that women like have this feeling, I think sometimes is like when women are in long-term relationships. Like when I was married, I would sometimes have a guy friend that I would be attracted to, who would be single.
You crushed on him a little.
I would crush on him. Like, you're a married person, but you're still a human being, and have a little crush on him. And I think that's what drives this whole like, oh, we got to find him somebody. We got to find him a gal. And guess what? You don't find him a gal because that guy is a haunted house. Like, you drive by.
Tell me more about, where does this concept haunted house come from?
So this is a term for a guy that it's like a house that you drive by and it looks nice. And the lawn is manicured.
It's in a good neighborhood.
It's in a good neighborhood and no one lives there. And you're like, why does no one live in this house?
Always for sale. There's always a for sale sign in the yard.
Always a for sale sign. And you're like, man, it seems like a bargain. And then you go visit the house and you say, holy this place is haunted. Like,
this thing has literal slime crawling out of the walls.
Yeah. Like, I have a guy friend and he's like, tall and handsome, and he's a dancer.
He's charming. He's also charming.
He's charming. Yeah. He's funny. And like, but I went out, like as a friend with him, like 2-3 times. I'm like, oh, this house is haunted.
This is way haunted. We need to get an exorcist up in here.
Like, and so you go from like, oh, we have to find him a gal, to I never want to introduce this man to any woman I know in life.
Ever. Like literally ever. Because then that lowers my brand.
Right. I mean, in defense of men, and this is the only thing I'll ever say in defense of men, I have had love where I had a month of bitterness, and said, if they only gave me a shot, I know we could work it out. But And some of those have turned into long friendships, and I totally get why it didn't work.
But I understand the impulse of like, how does he not see? Because I've been that woman too. How does he not see that we would be perfect for each other? Because we like the same bands. We think the same movies are good. You know, we hang out at the same places. Why are we not it? I think the difference between us and many men, I'm not going to say all men because you can't say that. Not all men. Not all men.
Believe.
Men, I think, come at this from two different things. One, they come with this belief that women, we can't trust their feelings because women are just nuts and crazy and they'll change their mind like the wind. Also, women are not allowed to have autonomy and women are not allowed to have their own preferences. Right. And so, yeah, I remember, oh my God, I remember this. Oh, I remember this crush in high school. I loved him. I'm not going to deny it. And I remember we went to a school dance. He was not my date, but we went as a group. The chick he brought, what we used to call a bowhead, like this puffy, like a prep. She had, puffy blonde hair. She was probably a size 3. She didn't like any of the music or movies that we liked because it turns out that those things don't matter.
Don't matter. Well, and also they don't matter at all.
Right.
Really? I mean, I've had this thought. I think it's really funny when people are on apps and they say, look, I love Hal Hartley movies. I love the Velvet Undergrounds and Lou Reed. I have these hobbies.
Let's also preface this by saying not a lot of people put this on there.
Everybody is going to come up with that list. And
Velvet Underground? Okay.
You can have everything in common on paper. And then when you meet the person, if they don't activate your childhood traumas, it's not it. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how much. I think it's very funny about people because I think we think that we're deeper than we are.
Right.
And I think that we think that like our interests, real things about us when they are
who we are as people,
who we are at the core, and who we are at the core, like that's all like icing. Who we are at the core is much more particular and weird. And you're much more likely to fall in love with a guy who reminds you of your dad than fall in love with a guy really who has the entire collection of Sandman comics. I mean, it's funny to me, like, because we are cavemen, right? And we think that we're so cool and sophisticated. And we're just cavemen trying to operate in a very modern world.
We're just looking for a woman to hit with a club and carry into a cave. Yeah.
Drag into a cave.
That's what we're all doing.
Well, so as we sum up, the friend zone, it's a funny idea, but it's
a very, very toxic idea.
Right under it seems like a funny idea, but right under the surface, there's a tremendous amount of misogyny, of patriarchy, of dislike of women.
Right.
And it's incel logic, right? Like I deserve to have sex because I want to.
And also women are not autonomous beings, right?
If I put enough friendship coins into this machine, she will pay out in sexual intercourse.
Sexual dividends. Yes.
Sexual dividends.
Right. So yeah, it's deeply problematic because of what it's steeped in patriarchy and probably also white supremacy, because let's be fair, everything kind of goes back to that, at least in America.
Please like and subscribe. My Stitch is a Therapist. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
Bye.